Um, Somebody's trying to get a hold of me. Mm, Give me a second while I make sure somebody's not struggling to get. Okay, that can be answered later for class tomorrow. Okay, so this is my thought. Here's our tray. Does it mean that this is exactly how it will turn out? No, because you guys know me. Best laid plans. So we have this beautiful canvas that Diane Shearer has let me use to make into a tray insert. And there's so many ways we can do this. If you attended the last class tray, it was used, we used a picture frame to make the M&M candy tray. And gotta say, UPS stinks. It got to Diane. They must have bounced that all over creation because M&Ms had fallen off and I glued those suckers on. I couldn't believe it when she told me some of the M&Ms fell off. But this one I thought I would take the approach that we had spoken about during that class, which the microphone is working, totally got this recorded on a different computer, higher quality, all of that. So you will get a copy of this class. But what we had discussed in that class was that you can take a tray such as this and you can basically make a mat and put your needlepoint underneath it and then put a piece of plexi on top of it. Now, I wasn't sure how, crazy I was going to get with this one because the last one was really over the top. So I wanted to kind of approach it not so nuts. But in doing that, I kind of chose a way that is, of course, a little nuts. So we talked about covering uh, the mat board basically with fabric versus with just having a mat board. Because I had cut out a mat board prior in the other class and we had talked about it and I said that, that's totally a way you can do it. One of the other things that I would like to have this piece sit in here so that I can just set the acrylic on top of it because it still hasn't come in. And the name of the company, it's in California, it's been shipped, but apparently they put it on the very slowest brown truck from UPS. And the piece for this cost me $17.50, but to ship it, it was $30 or more. I think it's because they insure it for so much, or they're just the general size of it. Whatever. It is what it is. It's quarter-inch plexiglass, not even plexi, it's acrylic. And so because of that, we can't cut it unless you have a jigsaw with a special blade, which I was going to try to get, but they don't even have it at the Home Depot on Cape Cod. Thank you very much. Feels like they never have what I want in. But I'm also toying with the idea of instead of having the plexi right on there, I'm going to talk to you guys about using a spacer all the way around so it has the support on the wood. The reason I'm using the 1/2 inch, we don't have to, but I'm not sure I can pull this off using 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch foam core, and because we have to sit the needle point down in, and then we have to make the mat, and then when we put the mat down in, I'm afraid it won't have enough room between with just the 1/8. So these are the things I'm thinking about as I'm making this with you guys. So let's get started by prepping the needle point. And of course, just like 2 minutes ago, I noticed that this tray that I have chosen needs to be sanded on a corner because it's got a weird little funky spot on it, which does not make me happy. It's like, wait a minute. Are you broken all the way through? So we're doing the same thing we do with everything. 1/2 inch of waste canvas all the way around. All right. And I haven't even really figured out the measurements because I've been redoing my studio, and because I want you guys to see what it takes to kind of how bad I am at math and how you have to figure it out. When if you want to, because say you don't want to deal with cutting a mat yourself, because it's not easy. I have a mat cutter and I still curse it regularly because I just do. I'm so bad at cutting mats. There is pictureframes.com. I'm going to put all of this in the supply list because there's stuff that I don't really know everything I'm going to use. One of the things that we had talked about, let's dart our corners. And we're going to be coming in at least a stitch. So we don't have to be like overly cautious with our waste canvas on this piece. You can go in and order mats, just the mat, from Hobby Lobby or Michaels. Our Michaels does a terrible job. I advise that you order it. It's hard to order it on pictureframe.com if you want a very specific color, because unless you have the, I'm sorry, I'm just noticing how dark it's getting in here. Unless you have a sample of all of the things that they offer, you aren't going to really know if it matches like beautifully. Oh yes, that's the color I wanted. And then you have to get, if you want a sample of the color, then you have to contact them and etc. So then it's a waiting game. So I advise that don't make it a last minute gift. If you want to get your a sample and see what matte color you want and all of that good stuff. Now I know that Deborah lives in Chicago and she has lots of places at her disposal, probably, unlike I, who they overcut all the mats at Michael's. And what that means is every time they do the corners, they put a little slit past where that corner is. That's not how it's supposed to be. And if you our Michaels does not carry, and I think it's kind of corporate wide, they don't carry any mattes in stock hardly at all. And so if you like a color, they probably won't even do it there. They send it out, they order it from a hub that does all of their mattes, and it's precision cut with a laser, whatever. And so then I would do it there, but it'll probably cost you a little bit. So I thought that this way would be showing you how to do it this way and showing you how to cover it in fabric might be a little nicer for you, because then you're not relying on other people to do it for you. But a lot of people love the look because it looks like a picture and it's framed and lovely. I wouldn't approach, how do I want to say this? You'd have to approach it differently than the way we're doing it tonight. So once I get this made, I'll kind of explain how I would do it if I was just doing the piece itself. I got to think about this. First, we're going to turn over our edge. And, you know, I said before, oh, I don't really need to, I don't want to lose a ton. And it really looks like Diane did a little continental stitch around the edge. Not for finishing purposes, but just in case, maybe for size, maybe. And so we don't want to do, I'm thinking this through, we don't want to do a bevel towards the front. We want the surface to be perfectly flat, okay? Now I'm thinking, to get the lowest profile, I may use mat board for this versus using foam core, because then we can keep it thinner and might be able to use the thinner foam core. Excuse me. Okay. Give me a second. Now that I changed my mind, I gotta find a piece of mat board that is a good size. But since we organized that area, be okay. Okay. There is our mat board. There is our cutting mat. We don't really have to steam the edges down to take our measurement because we can just turn it under like that. Bigger than that, Kelly. So 13 5/8. No scrap piece of foam core laying around from my stocking videos, where that's from, is safe from having notes made on it. And we have 9 and an 8. And while I'm thinking of it, take a second to measure this. So one of the things that I learned when I was measuring this is that because it is pre-made in some factory from I don't know where, Hobby Lobby has it made at. Shocker, China. So it's not square. You'd think it'd be square, but it's not. And I, of course, because I cleaned, I'm not going to be able to lay my hands on my cloth tape measure. So what I found was that up here on the upper edge where I was measuring wasn't quite accurate. And I took a cloth tape measure and I put it down inside to double check. And yeah, it's not off by a lot. It's off by like a 1/16 of an inch. But when you're working with plexiglass, that's a lot. If I did it by the wrong corner and chose the 1/16 bigger size and didn't double check both sides, my plexiglass or my acrylic glass, acrylic sheet wouldn't work. It would be too tight, and then I would be out of luck. And unfortunately, because I ended up having to choose the smaller size, because I can't ask them, hey, can you make it 17 and 3/4 up here on one corner and 17 and 11/16, that was it, and 11/16 down here. So I ended up having to get the 11/16 because I can't take the chance. So this is going to be, that's the other reason why I feel like I need to do this and have it sit on a piece of trim on the inside, not directly on the mat. Because I can't just take my glue and squeeze it in between, like that's what I'm planning on doing. I can't do that because it's going to have too much of a gap. So I'd like to be able to put my glue on the wood little piece, the spacer, and then I can put a bead of glue along the top for water sealant to make sure it doesn't, like double guard it. And then if it's too noticeable, I can do like I did with the M&Ms and trim it out somehow. So some of our trim options you can find at Home Depot. I'm coming, I promise. Oh. It's pretty sure I have the 1/4 inch spacer here. I do. So these are from Hobby Lobby. They're basswood strips, and you find them over like in the near the model train area and kind of by the fine arts paper. At least that's where it is on our wall. It's not in the wood section, but if you can find them online too. You don't have to have a store near you. And they are, so these are 3 3/16, which is actually a foam core size you can get, which I'm pretty sure I have over there. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Overhead light, hold on. Okay, not that it helps a ton, but helps a little. So, they also have pieces that are, let's see, this one was 1/16 by 1 1/4. And so that would make it so that it has a very low profile where it would just catch it. Do I have 2 of those in there? Because I used these for the last one, if you were with us for that. So, no, I only have 1 of those. So basically, we're kind of making a box frame. They have box frames at Michael's that are pre-made that you could do the same thing with, and they just use spacers that are pieces of foam core. Go figure. But it's a picture frame. It's not a tray that's got to do acrylic on top. Yes, I think oh, there is a little piece in there. All right. So our goal is going to be the 3/16. So I'm definitely doing the mat board. And so what did I say? We need the 17/16 with 11/16. And then this end, like I said, is sorry I got off on such a tangent, you know me. 17 3/4. Now, we can fudge it because we're the ones that are putting it together. But I'm going to have to go down by 3/16. Cheese and crust. Now I'm going to have to redo it. Wow, I'm brilliant. Okay. Brilliant! This is engineering on the fly. So another option for trim pieces, I know you've seen them at Home Depot or Hobby Lobby. No, not Hobby Lobby. Home Depot or Lowe's. And they are the rounded edge. These are pretty big for what this tray is. But I think you can get them, oddly enough, for miniatures like dollhouses. Pretty sure. So there are trim options out there aside from the ones that I'm talking about. And I also found in the model section in Hobby Lobby, they had some acrylic pieces that were like these. So they came, the spacers, so they came in the exact kind of same sizes. Previously, I didn't use it for the M&M one because they weren't the right color. And it was a wood piece and it just looked a little too modern. But potentially I could use those as spacers in this. But what's really nice about this is much easier to cut than the big trim pieces that are from the other place? I was from Home Depot. It was really interesting to me that so this is a not so great type of mat board because it's got fabric on one side. That doesn't matter to us. We just want some mat board. I'm using it because I can't use it for anything else and nobody's ever going to see this. So why not? Okay. So we're doing 9 by 13 eighths. 9 and 1/8. Okay. And of course, if you have any questions, shout it out or type, but I don't have the chat screen up, so. So 9 and an 8. And what are we looking at? 13 and 5/8. Let's just go a little bit further. And I'm pretty sure I got the plexi for the other one, the M&M one, from the same company. The other ones were like 3 times the amount, and I went plus expensive shipping. I don't think so. One of the other things I was thinking was with this is that potentially I could lay some pieces, raise the so it's 3/16, and try to make the profile a little bit lower so that again we could take and put some decorations on the mat. So you could jazz it up with like some little, you know how the scrapbooking place has, aisle has like little felt things that you could kind of put around it that, show off the canvas, just like we did with the M&Ms kind of. And just kind of, I don't know, change it up a little bit, make it a little more personal. Not that your piece, if it's a gift, shouldn't be personal enough. But the other thing is that you could take a really fun fabric and jazz it up that way too, in a different way. That like how we're doing it today. 5/8. Now I'm really hoping that I have. Which end was the square end? a square piece right in your hand, Kelly. Okay, this side. All right. We're doing 13 and 5/8. I was thinking it could be really cute Halloween one with some really sweet fabric that they have out right now. Wow. You know, the people love to treat the stop sign that is near me, right next to a four-way stop, like it is the speedway, and we're all got to be first off the line. And every time I hear them revving their engines and roaring through it, I just think, you must be made of money, man. That's a lot of gas just to speed off through the four-way stop. Because I don't think I'm the only one who still gets sticker shock when she goes to the gas station. All right. Okay. Should be good. I was a brilliant soul and did not think I was going to be using my glue gun tonight. Wow. Brilliant, right? So brilliant. So because Diane used a decorative stitch, this is still, even though I'm using mat board, it's going to be pretty thick. And it has unblocked a little. Yeah, you know how I feel about that. Oof, that's a glare. All right. All right, I'm gonna run and grab the mat board. I think you're really gonna like this piece because it is. Ooh, I think I got 3/16. Oh. It was actually inspired by the tape that she had put around the edge. I thought, oh my gosh, that is so cute with this canvas, this checkerboard. How adorable. All right, while I'm waiting for that glue gun, we're gonna work on the spacers for a second, I think. I'm not going to bevel the corners. I am lazy. I know. I'll try, but it's not as easy as you think. Ah, saved by the glue gun. We'll get there eventually, though. Okay, which side's the top? So I was thinking, I wish that I could find some little banner flags to kind of put around. And then I thought, well, maybe what I'll do is I will paint some on the outside of the tray on the wood. But I wanted to see what it looked like before I went too nuts. All right. Sometimes I think you have to see where you're at Of course, my glue is not. It's was not hot enough at that point. Come on, you. Have to kind of smear down that cold. Now, some of you I have not talked to since June or July. I hope you all had a wonderful summer. Same old for me. Never a dull moment, right? Okay. Now, this is where, so when we were talking about doing this like a picture, I personally would do a piece to frame just like this. And here's the exact reason why. It isn't square. Okay, I blocked this, but I'm pretty sure it's silk and ivory, and something about silk and ivory, it just, well, it's wool. It's got wool in it. So, and it looks like I needed to block it a little more. Here's the great thing about this. Like, pull it, or maybe I made this a little too big. Probably should have cut that 1/8 off. Let's look. No, I might be able to do it. All right. So what you have to do, because I can tell that it's off kilter, so can you. I mean, it's just laying here. So what we have to do is we have to make sure it's square there. Okay. I want to just be able to put down one spot. All right. To hold it. Make it behave, hopefully. Because we aren't going to be seeing this edge, I don't care if one row of waste canvas is on the edge. That's like forbidden when we're doing ornaments, because then you got to cover it. We're putting something over it that's going to hide it, so that's okay. Now that we have this steadied on here, we're going to see, it still wants to pull that way. We're going to do one on this corner too. And I think we're going to get this side down totally, because it gives us something to pull against. So we can make sure we're basically blocking it around this board that we know is square. Well, I thought it was square when I did it. Pretty sure it was. You can tell if you're over pulling and overcompensating when you put this down by how many. You want to make sure you see the same amount of stitches there, all the way along the edge. All right. Okay. So now we're going to go to this opposite corner that is behaving badly. And I don't know if you've noticed this when you're blocking, etc., that this is usually how it is that there is a, if it's off at this right to left, because when you flip it over and you're looking at it, area. And I find this very interesting that that is doing that. I wouldn't have thought, if we have this secured here, we shouldn't see this kind of bubbling over. Interesting. So I'm going to put some on here. When I put this on, I'm going to pull it to the right, or pull it up towards this side as I'm putting it on. Well, Kelly, why are you doing that? Because this spot had a little bump. And if we don't pull this canvas here this way as we go, we're going to have a big pucker down here. Yeah, we should be okay. All right, here we go. I mean, it seems odd to have to do this, to make something square that we've already blocked, but I mean, it happens a lot. And the reason I'm doing it like this is because I can push down with my thumb against. I'm pulling it against, just like we do with the tacks. Okay? I gotta get a little more because I think that cooled off already. Alright. Alright, I don't see any puckery bumps there. Fine. Nice thing is there's no border around this, so if we have to pull a little on this end, it's okay. I'm kind of pulling up with my fingers as I'm pushing down with my thumbs. Yeah. Essentially, it's going to sound odd the way I'm going to put it, we're lacing with glue. The people that lace, they're magnificent. I give them major props for taking the time to go back and forth, where you take longer pieces of waste canvas and you go back and forth and lace it down like a corset and tighten it and do folds at the corner and do the same on the opposite direction. You all know that I'm not a lazy person, but at the same time, this is a lot easier, and so I just do it. But again, this is also why I do it using glue that is a high temp, so that in case it's in a home that maybe doesn't have air conditioning and it gets really hot, oh dear, like Arizona, where this is going to go live, we want to make sure that it's going to withstand being out in that heat, hopefully. But I don't think she'll use it poolside if it's too hot. But then I could be wrong. This really is an adorable canvas. All right. I keep saying I have got to get a new cutting mat because, yeah, I don't want anything to fray from all my little cut marks. All right, I'm just gonna tuck those little bits under because we don't want them being an issue under our mat. One thing I am going to consider is making sure that because of the height of the waste canvas and the corner areas, that I might have to put a small spacer underneath it so that it doesn't bow down. That's the problem with mat board, especially when it gets big like this. It just slumps. But we don't mind. It's all right. Put a little spacer in there. Who cares? All right. Okay. Now, there is that. I am going to, ooh, and look, we just happened you know how much I love mat board and how much I don't cut it with a knife usually like I did earlier. All right, look at that, perfect. Oh yeah, there we go. Now it'll lay just right in there. All right. All right. So, we have 2 pieces. 3/16 is, so that's 3/8. Where's my toe? So for 3/4, and it's 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 17 3/8. Could have just done that, huh? And the upper one would be that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16. I said this was the other way. Oh yeah, that's right. 12.5. So if it's 12.5, so it'd be 12 1/8. Okay. So this is the size of our mat board. And time to stand up again, because it's big. And sorry you have to endure watching me attempt to do math. I am terrible at it, terrible with rulers. Let's see, 12.5. I know you're thinking, Kelly, come on, I've seen you doing all of these. Yeah, I still hate it. 12, and let's make sure I don't have any dents. That would be bad and typical of something I would grab. 12 and an 8. So the really fun stuff happens after this, i.e. more math with figuring out how far around each one of these the mat's going to be. Yeah, gotta love that. Sometimes my table is just not big enough where my cameras are set up. Okay. I will say that doing this for a living now, especially recently, has forced me to become more fraction oriented, especially box stand-ups. They really make you use your math and story problems. Hated story problems. Okay. Now, okay, and if there's a math teacher out there watching, don't laugh. Let's see. Are we gonna try to get that fussy with... Yeah, I think we kind of have to, don't we? Let's start with the 17 and 3/8 because I actually have 2, 3 on this on this ruler. That mark down here, and I'm going to put 17 and 3/8. And now we're going to do, there's 3/8, and so we are going to do halfway there. So I'm going to keep my line square there. And again, we're just gonna, if we have a make it work moment, that's just how it's gonna be. And I may have to recut this, and for that, I will apologize if I do. All right. Ooh, jeez. I'm always hitting that camera. All right. The nice thing, if you use pictureframe.com, it has this wonderful little tool where you can take a picture of your piece and, like, crop it in, and you tell it, you say you want to see what it's going to look like, okay? And you tell it how big the picture is and tell them what the diameter is of the frame that you have. I think you can do it a couple different ways, and it'll tell you how big to make your mat. Now, the reason I just flipped that over, did you see I flipped this piece over? We had cut it on this side, and I think I did pretty good at keeping the sides square. If you can, I don't know if you can see this, but it rocks. Okay, so I'm going to, maybe I should leave it this way because then it would bow, it would press down. It'll still press down on the middle. My thought is when it has a slight bow, which a lot of foam core does, and so does a lot of mat board, not so much because it usually kind of ebbs and flows a little better. I like to try to keep an eye on the curve and put the curve down when we're doing ornaments or things like that, because then when you press them together, the glue makes sure to, they work against each other, the two pieces. So you don't ever see any wonkiness to the sheet. Whereas potentially we could hear, but I think we'll do this side. Yeah. Okay. So for a little bit of ease on my part, I am going to move that. Oh, guess what? We're flipping it over. I just found a dent. Yep. Okay. So let's look and see.
Keep your overhead cameras frozen because your hands haven't moved in the overhead.
Thank you.
It took me a second to realize like your hands were not following you.
Yeah, and that's not the picture I have right now. Okay, it's probably because I touched it. To move that up, I will be back. I have to go all the way out. If it will let me. Leave meeting. Assign and leave. Start. Nope. I'll be right back. I have to do something to my program I'm using to use the two cameras. I'll be back. Leave. There we go. All right, so stop virtual camera. Close. Open. Okay. And properties. View properties. Figure. Camera. Focus is off. Okay. Okay. Start virtual camera. And start. Hiya! Sorry about that. Okay. Maximize. And 10. Yes. So we now have our camera sort of fixed. And usually when you're doing a mat, you leave the bottom a little heavier. We're not doing that because this is a tray and we kind of basically want to have everything the same. So that's 1.5 inches. That's 1.25 inches. 3. That's 3/8. 3/8. So if we did 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. Okay. And then that's already 1.5 inches. And that's 2. So if we do 1.75 inches, 1.75 inches, we'd have to do 1.7 inches. And 1.5 inches. Okay. So, what I was looking at, now I don't have 1.5 inches above and below. I have probably like, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/16. But I want this is going to overhang just slightly. So 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches will be perfect, because we're going to do the thing you guys hate doing. We're going to bevel it on the inside so that this sits down over this picture and it has just a tiny little lip that hangs on it. Okay, about an eighth, maybe. So this is what it is in theory. Just saying, because this is the first time I've done one like this, something like this. I do the picture frames all the time, and this really should work. Should. Now, if you're using a light fabric, you're going to have to go back and erase what I'm about to do. So 1.5 inches, because I'm putting the lines right on. I really want to remember what I was talking about with the overcuts. Not too dark. There's a little dent there. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't want to do that if I can help it. And it's going to be potentially a little difficult to, when we wrap the material around in the corners. So we'll go for it, because we do that. We just go for it and we make it work. And usually it works. Not always, but usually. Okay, let's move those scissors out of the way. 1.7 inches. Hey, I remembered. Okay. I actually, so one of the things I noticed at Hobby Lobby is, once I started looking, when I was going through their pre-made section, on the opposite side of the aisle, there was all of these different, they looked like they were trays that were not, some of them were like metal and some of them were wood, and they were trimmed out differently. So this kind of came from the pre-made decorate it yourself section, whereas they have some that are kind of pre-done that would be perfect to insert things into. And then they had a whole other section that had some the galvanized steel trays that were there, and they were really cool. And so then it's like, geez, you could go to town with these and do all different kinds of things. You just got to kind of think outside the box. Now, we want to be very careful. And when we do this, we don't want our ruler to slip, and I am infamous for that. So just do light scoring. We do a couple passes instead of uh, uh, uh. I am, yeah, I am, okay. Oh. Why am I so far over on the 1.5 inches? I don't want that to shift. Probably because I'm following a pencil line. I'm gonna try to go straight down there. I might have to, I definitely will have to go. So I try to keep my ruler over the area I want to keep safe, because if I accidentally drift with the blade out, I don't care about that area. So I have a degree in photography, and you'd think, oh, Kelly can match. That's not a big deal. Yeah, no. I did it. It was not my favorite part at all. All right. I know why it's like this. It's I'm using a different ruler. Am I? Maybe not. Maybe that ruler just sucks. It's because the lines on it are so big. It's one of the reasons I don't like it. Okay. They put all of this, it's why I switched to this style. They put all this white, it's like pink with white and around each of the little lines that and it's like, no. That looks, oh my gosh. Why does that look like that? Oh, that ain't good. This is 1.5. Why does that look so wonky? Is that because of that stupid little difference? That means our window's going to be wrong. Sugar. We're going to have to cut this again. What do you want to bet? Yeah, I'm going rogue. The window has to fit. the needle point, and since our outer edge was not right, we just made our window too big. I bet you I don't even have to bevel the edge to see. I guess not. Maybe it's my old wonky eyes. All right, so now, okay, I'm not going to touch the cords when I do the camera this time. We're going to come in, and we got to make sure, we'll come back into the corners in a minute. Insert through. On it. Back up. Kind of chopping through this corner. Now, we are beveling this so that, hey, ooh, almost went right through the bottom. Don't do that. Then we'd have to do a weird patchy thing. Okay. New blade. Biting me too much. All right. 6:15. Okay. What a disgruntled blade. Jeez. Now, burnish it. We want that edge nice and tight. And I don't even care if you round it off a little more than you think you should. We only care about the outer edge. We want to make sure that this has space to sit down on it. Okay? All right, let's see. Ta-da! Look at that. Now, I have space underneath it, okay, that I don't like. Which means that either this is a piece of 1/8 inch, so this is the foam core I was going to potentially use. You can get 1/2 inch. What would have happened is I probably would have had to put another piece of foam core underneath the needle point to push it up to where I wanted it to be. But we're good. We're good, we're good. Because what we're gonna do is we're just going to lay down just like we did underneath this. We have this. We're gonna take strips of mat board and lay it down underneath so that it stays even. Okay? Not to worry. Now, my debate. What am I thinking about? Well, I am thinking about this piece over here that is my fabric that I can see I did not iron down. Okay. That over there. And this over there. So I got a couple kinds of fabric tonight. And by the way, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. Because our piece is a little off. And these are sort of straight. So we'll do our best. All right, I gotta get this fusible interfacing on there better. But at least we'll be able to see what we're doing to it through the interfacing. Now, why are we using interfacing on this? We are using interfacing on this because it adds body and it gives it a structure to make it lay nice and flat and makes it look nice and crisp. And also I thought I was going to be using the black foam core and wanted to not have the black show through the white material. So there you go. Those are all my reasons. All right. Now what I'm thinking about is this. Okay, we gotta kind of try not to mess up okay. Let me know if I freeze on Zoom. Now this is going to have a lot of overspray. Don't do this in your house. I usually do this outside, but yeah. To do it outside for you, I have to go downstairs and then I have to go out and yeah. Hold on while I get a bigger piece of cardboard or something. Or ugly back. Oh, look at the ugly mat board that we were going to throw away today, but it's going to be our best friend now. All right, so this is 3M spray glue, and we got to make sure it's not clogged. You want to do this in a well-ventilated area. Oh God, this is going to go everywhere. Make sure I get the interior areas hit. Good thing I got fresh air cranking in here. All right. And just warning you, you're gonna have a sticky finger after that. All right. Ooh, sugar. I hope I don't freeze. All right. Now we're letting it kind of get tacky for a second. You know, I probably should have made sure that this fit down in our tray. I'm such an optimist, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot for not doing it, but all right. So I'm trying to kind of look at my lines and see. I gotta stand up. Well, let go. No! Rats. Come on, let go. Alright. So that side and across the top are doesn't look too horrible. Our goals in life, not too horrible. Oy. So I grabbed some other fabric just in case I didn't like this. And it was this black and white polka dot. And I was looking at the lady. There was glue on the table when I ironed that. So that's why it stuck like that. I was like, what the heck is it sticking to the table? And this black and white polka dot. And just like right now, if I move my head too fast while I'm looking at it, it's making my eyes freak out. I probably should have, I probably would have made myself crazy if I had done this, but I probably should have tried to, I have my two fingers behind here just so I can cut in there a little bit so I don't have to get my cutting board down. The black background with the white dots, the size that they were, I looked at the lady and I went, whoa, that is killing my eyes. She goes, oh, I always wonder if other people see that too. All right, so I am leaving an eighth, just like what we do going around an ornament or anything else. Fabric is much more, I don't want to say, it wraps better than what the needlepoint does. When you're doing a picture frame, oh my gosh, it's such a pain in the butt because the needlepoint canvas is so stiff. It's just really quite unforgiving. All right, So let's give ourselves plenty of fabric. It's probably 3/4 of an inch-ish. And then I thought, oh, gee, maybe I just need to eat something because I've never had that happen before. That optical illusion is, so I doubt I will ever use that material on any of my stuff. Maybe if it was in a smaller
In printing,
piece.
they call it I think it's called a moire pattern, and it is a visual effect your eyes do.
Oof.
I see the same thing in a lot of, sometimes for me it's colors,
Yeah.
certain colors will do that. And I actually have to purposely set my backgrounds on my computer to a gray. Because if I have too much light in the background, my entire monitor will just start swimming. And when I was a kid, I would see this and people would tell me, like, you're crazy. You can't be seeing that. And then as later, in talking to a eye doctor, she's like, no, that's a legit thing. Like, yeah, it's just the way your eye and your brain like interpret the patterns.
Oh man.
So
And
you're not alone. You're not
okay,
alone in it.
good. I started laughing. I was like, you definitely aren't alone, ma'am, because woo.
Yeah.
So I am gonna go ahead and bevel this because if for some reason when we put this on, if there's any little overhang, it's easier to fudge this way, and I don't want to have to, because we can kind of bend it a little. It can kind of lay up on the wood maybe. We'll have to figure it out if it does happen. But since I was brilliant and didn't actually put the spacers in and measure, yeah, I think it was a pretty big feat for me just to make sure it fit over the needle point. That's all that matters. We'll make the other stuff work around it because I'm ridiculous. I don't know if anybody else did this, but you know, in the 80s, padded picture frames or quilted picture frames were all the rage. And so we actually made some in my 4-H group. And that's kind of why I know how to do this. So you could actually do this, and instead of putting glue on the face of it, put padding, just like we do for our ornaments, put a thin layer over it, and then go ahead and cover it and kind of make like a little poofy thing if you wanted to. Wouldn't really look that great with a tray, but could. All right. And the other reason why I did this, now I'm checking out the lines here to see how good or bad they are, is because it'll help if I didn't cut it perfectly perpendicular, then it won't fight against those spacers. It'll give it a little bit of room, because if the bottom was bowing out a little more than the top, then we'd have to go in and bevel it after we already put it around. That would be annoying. And there are my scissors. Okay. Okay. So this was just the regular gingham check. It wasn't the specialty quilting kind at their store, and I was pretty pleased with how thick it was, because sometimes gingham, certain companies that make it, it's really thin, and that was a worry, because I don't want thin. Okay. I'm definitely gonna have to cut that in further. Not a lot. We're not gonna go crazy. Leave a 16th instead of an 8th. There. Yeah. All right, we'll start the short side first. Give that a shot. See how we do. Because it already has glue on the face of it, we don't have to worry about it getting all weird. Excuse me while I bring you back here so that I can do that. I just thought of something that I was like, oh my gosh. The only thing you do have to worry about is that we're pulling it enough that our gingham pattern is right. Know what I mean? Jelly bean. Alright, so it looks like I'm gonna have to come back and do the corners once I get the other pieces put on. We'll touch up the corners a little bit with just a little gluey. But a lot of times I tell you to be careful when you're wrapping around because you don't want to pull. It should be fine because we put that glue on there and it shouldn't shift and pull our pattern out of square. Let's hope it was square. If it turns out too shifty, I can always redo it because I don't have the plexi today anyway. That kind of torqued me off, but I did not think it would take over a week to ship. Watch, it'll get here tomorrow. Oh, it got here faster to you than we thought it would. Jerks. Okay, curiosity's getting the better of me. Boy, that's pretty good. Little shift, but this is probably the wonky side. Let's hope. But I really think that this is a good option for you to be able to do something that's a little different than maybe what you've seen around. The doing a totally acrylic tray by yourself, you're gonna need some pretty serious power tools. That's why it's just kind of easier to use things that we know we can use, we have to make these things. One of the things that totally went right out of my head. Dang it. Oh, so if you wanted to just do a matte piece, right? And you get the piece of mat board, you know, your mat back, and it's not going to have this thickness. And so what you're going to do is sort of what we're going to do with this, where you're going to make a foam core piece to go around your needle point to inset into, just like the frame we made here, right? This mat. So it's still going to sit down in it, and then it'll keep your mat over the top of it. So it's kind of a reversal. You'd be making this, but make it big enough, exactly the same size as your piece of needlepoint, and make sure that you can kind of use that mat as your template so you know how big to make it. And I'll show you afterwards, okay? Because I don't want to confuse you by not giving you a visual to what I'm speaking about. So I put up all of these wire shelvings, and I was telling my daughter, oh, I cannot find this piece that helps you secure it into the wall because the carpet has just enough nap up here, and this barn's floor where I'm at is uneven. It's very uneven. And so I'm battling the carpet not going right. How bad is that on the front? Oh, it's not bad at all. Okay. Okay. Ooh, that ain't great. Oh well. Um, and she goes, Mom, you can tell me 10 different ways to do it of what it is that you want and need to do, but I'm still not able to visualize what you're talking about, so you'll just have to show me when I come over there. And it was like, okay. So, not gonna try to over explain something to you guys that you just need a little reference, visualizing reference. Okay, so this one we've got, and we're just going to put the tiniest little hoop there. And then I'm going to just take this and wrap it around. Okay, so it comes in. My big old round finger wasn't going to help me do that very well. Okay, and I have a better thing to use that won't stick as much to it. So I'll use one of my little fingers, littler fingers. And I can see a little bit of fray. If you want to, prior to this, put some fray check where the corners are and let it dry. Might help. Have it be a little less of a pain. I have no moisture in my skin. I wonder if this material is going to be enough of shim so that we don't have to put little pieces of mat board under it. Interesting, maybe. Yeah. Come on. Nope. And then I just let all of that cool. Brilliant. I'm having some serious ADD tonight. I'm like all over the place. That's glued. That's going nowhere. And last side. And then we do spacers. So earlier, just like the last time when I was trying to show you guys this, I was trying to cut a piece of plexiglass that's thin, not thick at all. I tried it again today so that I could show it with that same thin piece twice. And I'm usually pretty good at cutting it. I was like, dang, what the heck is up with this? So I gave up. Well, more like I ran out of acrylic sheet. So the key to corners, when we do corners, you gotta kind of pinch the back side. Grab it and pinch it between your fingers and then lay it over. Sure, I say that and now this isn't doing it. To try to get a nice sharp corner. Because otherwise, if you just push it and it is a piece and it's on a real strong point like this is, then what happens is it dents your corner. And I don't want to do that. I don't want a dog-eared corner because this is going to be seen. I need it to kind of try to maybe fit in the corner that those are going to make. Kind of maybe. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. It's hot. This corner. Yeah, all the corners look pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right. That's semi-obnoxious, isn't it? I gotta get rid of my overspray board. Before I accidentally set something down on top of it. That would be me. All right, let's see how it looks and which every time I touch that camera now, I'm like, don't touch that. By the cords, touch it by the metal. And here's our little spacer piece that goes underneath to make everything even. Okay. There. We are. Okay. I don't think we can get much better than that. Yeah, I think leave the wonky little bit by the butt of the trailer. Okay. All right. Now, I would laugh my head off if I put this in there and it was not enough, had no room for spacers. Whoops. The slip is showing. Kind of put it in there. Now we're gonna put this in there. Move you around. Yep, I left plenty of room for my spacers. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's gonna turn out pretty cute. Okay. I need to get sorry, my daughter is texting me going, dinner? Can we order restaurant? Get takeout? I'm teaching a class. I don't know what you're doing, but not happening for me. Silly Gil. All right, so I think the top and the bottom will get the long cut. And what I mean by long cut is that the stick will go all the way across there, and then we'll have to cut this side shorter since I'm not beveling. I know I said I was going to try, but I'm sorry. Ooh, I better make sure I know which spot that is, since one of the top and bottoms is wonky. Do, 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 do. Now, I'm not sure if I want to do this way. Drag out my saw. Drag out the saw! Do I want this or my wonky little... Yes, we'll use this. Except he's kind of bent because of the other day. One of the things that I use... So this is a hacksaw. It's supposed to be used on metal. But this is so fine. I don't want to use my big toothy guy, so I'm just going to use this. Sometimes I just use what I think is best. And then tool people go, and I go, but it worked. Oh dear, am I going to have enough spacer wood? I think I only have 3 of these. Cheese and crust. That's what I get for giving someone one of these to use as a plant stake. And I did it just yesterday. That was brilliant. Not even hitting it there. All right, now I can use my blade. Boop. Now, this is going to be hidden, so we don't really care. But we have to do better on the big one. And what do I mean by that? Because it's being blunt ended in, you're not going to see it. But I want this edge to be the top because I kind of cut it in an angle so that, oh, I don't have to worry about that end. Jeez. Oh, I'm so brilliant, guys. Brilliant, brilliant. Let's see how we did. See if I gotta shave some off. Oh, that looks pretty good to me. Might look good if you could see it. There you go. A little light on the subject. Okay. Move it down a little. So we got one. But as you well know, because I've been complaining about it so much, let's see. Maybe I can double up one of those. Oh, I might be able to. At least so it'll hold it. Okay. Sorry. Can't see what I'm doing down there. Okay. Before I cut this, we need to do a test. This should be put this in like that. Put this in like that. So our test is when this is put in, is it going to be too high? Get what I'm saying? Oh, here, I can grab onto those stitches. You know what? We have an issue. I can see it now. I just realized it. She has raised flowers on here. Okay, we may have to punt. So if that's there, like that. This is where we get to see if my math was right, because I didn't do this before. I don't think it is. Just put that down into C. Oop. Why don't you want to stay there? Probably because it isn't square. Come on, roll over. Okay. Gotta stand up, guys. Sorry. Let's take this out. And this out. Not quite. Okay. So that's not right. That in like that. Put that in like that. Yeah, that's too much. Play. Oh, let's hold on a minute. Maybe we should figure out which side Wow, this thing is really not square. Hmm. Okay, guys, I don't want you to sit here while I'm making myself nuts. Hold on, I gotta get some glue. Brilliant. Well, nothing else, guys. You get your how not to do it moments from me. Oh my giddy aunt, get out of there. Jeez. Okay. So, we're going to take our little 3/16. Really, glue? You too shall betray me. Which end is the end that had the wonky butt? That end. And that is the right one? Yes. All right, so we're going to put a smear. Really? Well, Kelly, if you would open the nozzle once you clean it out, it would help. All right. I'd like to be able to use my little clamps on here and have it be all snug. But they won't fit. Okay, so do you know who I feel like right now, aside from the fact that he always hurts himself, is Tim the Toolman Taylor. The Tim Allen Show. Yeah. He was going to do it. It was going to be done wrong. That is not what I want to be known for heaven's sakes.
Kelly, are you on mute? I'm not hearing sound.
It. 1 minute. Apparently, I got kicked off. I disappeared and didn't even know it. Jeez. Okay. So that sets pretty well even without our lovely little bit that we need there. This is not a square one. Where's my other square one? Square one. Here's this. Ooh, I might have a solution. Yay. All right. I didn't mark the other one, did I? No. I started fussing with that mat that is now pointless. Yeah, totally bunged that. Could. Okay. Back here. I made that little groove because I don't want it to travel when I'm making the first cuts. I want it to stay right where I put it. And sometimes if you don't have a cut there to help stay in that groove, it goes wherever the heck it wants to. Who said it could do that? Okay. Now, blade and chop. And we go again. My interior is going to be covered, so I really shouldn't worry about glue squishes. The only ones I care about are the ones that you can see above. On the sides. Wow, that is really not square. Interesting. It's like it doesn't even know where to stick to. This side isn't so bad, but that side is tipping profusely. Nope, not long enough. Buggers. I don't want to get Oop. Shut it. Take that foam core I just had and kind of try to inject some into there, push it in. I don't know that that's going to help or not. Okay. Now, bing. Our side piece is going to be 12. Hold on. Oh my gosh, I just found a fourth piece. Yay! How the heck did that happen? And since I cannot find that other piece, my cloth tape, I'm going to use, Oops, big old piece of something there. What is that? Okay, so let's cut ourselves off a little doop. So we have a nice clean end. You can use a piece of string or try to make sure you guys can see it, because on the live version, the Zoom version, it's in the upper left And I'm going to use the tip of my pencil. Come on. Which you can't see. You know what I'm going to use? I'm going to chop it. I can't see here. Okay, Sydney. Make sure that's there. That's there. Push this right and make a bend. Okay. That's about right, but I think I'm going to do just a bit more. Left side. Okay. And the reason I'm going to do just a tiny bit more is I'd rather have to chop off a little bit than to screw it up again and be too short. I mean, there's lots of ways to get a measurement. Okay. All right. Bevel it in. Oh my gosh. Just a little, not quite enough there. All right. Of course, I had a piece. No, that's not it. There it is. All right. How did we do? So this was for the left side. Look at that. Wow. It fit. How exciting. Which way? That way. Now I'm officially a mess. I was doing so well too. Using scrap fabric. Alright. Get that squeezed in there. This is the side that needs to be held down. So worst case scenario with the 3/16 won't be thick enough. We can get these little thin pieces and we can just put one right on top of it. Oop. And they come in all different kinds of widths. So don't worry, you can make that work because we're going to have to raise that up high enough so that her stitches aren't compressed. Again, wasn't thinking about that. Oh, gotta measure it, Kelly. Come on now. Let's see if our strip is correct. Again, on this side. Nope, it is another 16th longer. Okay. So this is what? Yeah, because it wasn't. Now I'm panicking because I've been miscutting, mismeasuring, miss. Hold on, gotta put the straight side towards like so. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That has a serious curve in it.
Tell me if you can hear us. You're frozen again.
Am I? Shoot. I'll be back. Oh. Am I back? All right. Okay. All right. All right. Trim off a little of the bits. Really, that top edge is the important edge. All right. Look at that. Woohoo! All right. Come on, come on, come on. Starting to coagulate. Wow, glue, you just don't want to stick to that, do you? Okay. It's a good thing I have tons of bits of foam core around here. Like little spatulas. I'm gonna have to put a note for anybody watching the video. Please fast forward through first cloth covering of the mat. This is how not to do. Measure first. Okay, so let's set this in so we can see exactly how off it is. Very off. I don't know, is it very off? Sort of. I should just accept it, move on, right? Yes. Let it go, Kelly. Let it go. I understand if you guys have to bail on me because you actually have a life, but I'm gonna keep trooping forward until I get this correct. Oh my god. Feels so ridiculous. Let's see. What can I use? Nope. All right. So we know this is 12. And an 8. And that's 12 and an 8. So it should fit. Man, did I just cut it that wonky? Oh, I don't like the thought of that. That's not good. All right, so there is 12. And 17 and quarter. Hold, please. Here I come with all the tiny marks. So we know it's 12. Boy, I was right. 1, 2, 3. There's a quarter. Should be right in between. 17 and now I'm concerned that if I do a quarter, it's not going to be right. See, that's where it drops away. It's not square anymore down there. That's square. That's square. That's square. And there's our bow out. Right there. And it's like just at the end, at the bottom. So it's, ugh, I don't even go there. All right. So that's, so we do it from the square end. and one, two, three. There's the quarter. That's where the other side is. I don't know. How do we manage that, ladies? Just at that little last 4 inches, it flares to the left. Other than maybe we put a piece of trim on it that's a little bit bigger. That could do it. Once we get the mat set down in, maybe. All right. It's 12. 17. Yeah, 5/16. Okay. Now. So this is this foam core. And it's pretty close to 3/16. Right. Let's just get the mat to fit, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, because we can't have the plexi sit down on that flat like I had talked about because of that stitching. So let's come as close as possible, and I can always go and pick up some more of these tomorrow and raise it a whole nother 3/16 or close to it. Let me see how many. It's an 1/8. Yeah, that would do it. This one would do it. And I have 3 of those. I can always get another one. Okay. All right, let's make this mat because I'm itching to get it correct because it's kind of making me angry now. So this time